Mom texted, "You and your 4-year-old not invited to Thanksgiving. It's just better without tension." My brother commented, "2 less plates to waste." I responded, "You just voted out the person paying for your mortgage." They laughed, but 3 days later they were screaming and begging me. I was standing in the checkout line at Target when the message came through. "You and your 4-year-old are not invited to Thanksgiving. It's just better without the burden." It was from my mom. Not a group chat. Not a call. A text. I didn't even finish swiping my card. Just stood there for a second, rereading it while the cashier waited, probably thinking I was checking coupons or something. I wasn't. I was reading a sentence that made something in my chest go cold. Emma was sitting in the cart, completely oblivious, trying to open a bag of gummy bears she talked me into. I looked at her little hands, her messy ponytail, her sparkly unicorn hoodie, and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Rage. I paid, walked us out to the car and strapped her in. Then another notification buzzed. A message from Kyle. 2 less plates to waste. That one landed even harder. They weren't just excluding me. They were excluding my daughter. A 4-year-old who calls my mom, Nana, and once cried when she couldn't go visit her uncle because she missed him. And now they were acting like we were garbage to be taken out before the holiday. What makes it worse is what had happened just 3 days earlier. I'd asked them for a favor. A simple one. Could someone watch Emma for 2 hours while I did a virtual interview for a promotion at work? I work in IT cybersecurity systems for federal contracts. And this was a big one. Higher pay, better hours, benefits that would change our lives. Mom responded, "I'm not a babysitter." That's all she said. No follow-up. No offer to compromise. Kyle didn't even bother replying. But here's what they seemed to forget. For the past 5 months I had been paying their rent. Every month. No reminders. No arguments. I paid it because they needed help. I also paid their car insurance, sent grocery money, and even helped Kyle with his last tuition installment when he claimed his FAFSA funds were delayed. None of it was alone. I never threw it in their face. I never made them feel bad. I didn't do it for power or praise. I did it because I thought that's what family was supposed to do. Apparently they thought the same. They just had a very different idea of who owed what. So I said nothing back. Not yet. I went home, tucked Emma in for a nap, and sat in the kitchen staring at that message. "You and your 4-year-old are not invited to Thanksgiving. It's just better without the burden." I took a deep breath and replied once. "You just voted out the person paying for your mortgage." Kyle replied with a laughing emoji. Then a meme. My mom sent a thumbs up. They really thought I was bluffing. They didn't know I'd already opened the banking app. Already canceled the recurring rent payment. Already paused the insurance account. Already disconnected from the tuition portal. No warning. Just silence. 3 days later it hit them. A voicemail from my dad saying the rent bounced. My mom texted asking if the insurance company messed something up. Kyle sent a wall of texts, all frantic, asking why his tuition payment failed and his registration was frozen. I didn't answer any of them. And by that night they were calling nonstop. Begging. Screaming. And that was just the beginning. By day 4 I had 27 missed calls, 5 voicemails, and more unread messages than I bothered to count. The whiplash was unreal. Just days earlier, they were joking about how much easier Thanksgiving would be without me and my kid. Now every notification felt urgent, like the house was already on fire and they were just realizing they needed water. The first voicemail was from my dad. His usual calm, almost polite. "Hey Edna, something's wrong with the rent payment. It didn't go through. Probably just a glitch. Give me a call." An hour later, another one. Same voice, tighter this time. "The insurance company says the policy's about to lapse. They can't find a payment. Did something change on your end?" Then Kyle's voicemail came in. "No hello. No build-up. What the hell did you do? My tuition didn't go through. I'm locked out of registration and they're saying I might lose my classes. Call me back." No. That one made me laugh. Not because it was funny. Because it was predictable. Not once did any of them mention Thanksgiving. Not once did they mention Emma. No apology. No acknowledgement of what they'd said. Just panic over money suddenly disappearing. I didn't respond. The texts kept coming. Kyle shifted tactics fast. "We need to talk. This is serious. You're messing with my future right now." My mom sent a long message about how stressed she was, how hard things had been, how family doesn't do this to each other. That line stuck with me. Family doesn't do this to each other. 3 days earlier, family had called my daughter a burden and laughed about it. That night, my dad showed up at my apartment. No warning. Just a knock at the door while Emma was eating dinner. I didn't open it. I watched through the peephole as he stood there, checked his phone, knocked again, then left. Kyle texted right after. "Why won't you answer him? This is going too far." Too far. I finally replied to my mom. One sentence. I asked for 2 hours of babysitting. You told me no. Remember that? She called immediately. I picked up this time. She started with how she didn't mean the burden comment the way it sounded. Then she said Kyle was just joking. Then she said I should be the bigger person because I make more money anyway. That's when it clicked. They didn't see my help as generosity. They saw it as my role. My responsibility. Something I owed them because I was doing better. I asked her if she understood why I was hurt. She said she understood why I was upset, but not why I was punishing everyone. I hung up again. That night after Emma went to bed, I opened my laptop and pulled bank statements, transfer histories and receipts. I wasn't emotional anymore. I was precise. Rent, insurance, tuition, groceries, emergency cash, random, can you spot me till Friday transfers that never came back. 5 months, over $15,000. And somehow I was still the villain. The next morning, Kyle texted that his advisor was threatening to drop him from his program. My dad said the landlord was calling. My mom said the car couldn't be driven without insurance. They were unraveling fast. And still no one had asked how Emma was doing. That was when I decided I wasn't just cutting them off. I was going to confront them. In person. And I was going to take back more than just my money. By the time Saturday came, I was done feeling shocked. I was done waiting for apologies that weren't coming and watching my phone light up with calls that only existed because their lives had started falling apart without me holding the pieces together. Emma was with my neighbor who'd offered to watch her for the day. I told her we'd go out for pancakes in the morning, but first I had to do something I should have done a long time ago. I drove across town to my parents' house without telling anyone. No texts. No warning. The same driveway I used to pull into every Sunday with groceries in the trunk, diapers when Emma was still a baby, and whatever last-minute favor they needed. The same porch where I once sat holding a folder of bills they didn't know how to pay, the first time I offered to just cover it for a little while. I walked in without knocking. Still had a key. They never changed the locks. My mom was in the living room under a blanket, phone in her hand, reruns playing in the background. My dad was at the kitchen table with his laptop open, looking like he hadn't slept. They both turned when they saw me. My mom said, "Edna?" Like I was the ghost of Christmas bills past. I didn't answer. I walked straight over to the little desk they kept in the corner of the room, the one where they stored envelopes of gift cards I'd bought, documents I'd filled out for them, login details I'd set up when my dad forgot his banking password for the 6th time. I opened the drawer and took back the checkbook linked to my account. Grabbed the extra debit card I'd given them in July. The one they used for gas, groceries, occasional fast food when they didn't feel like cooking. They both started talking at once. I ignored them. I reached into the second drawer and pulled out the folder I made for Kyle's tuition paperwork. A little red binder I'd organized when he swore he'd pay me back, as soon as graduation came around. I took the 2 unused Visa gift cards taped to the inside cover. Then I turned around and walked to the front door. That's when the shouting started. My mom kept saying, "We were going to fix it." My dad tried telling me I was misunderstanding everything. I asked them both one question. Did you or did you not call my daughter a burden? Silence. Not even denial. Just silence. So I said, then there's nothing to talk about. I walked out, put everything in my trunk and drove to Kyle's place. It was a rundown student complex, the kind with cracked pavement and beer cans in the parking lot. He opened the door wearing sweatpants and looked like hell. Probably hadn't slept since his tuition payment bounced. He asked if I was there to work something out. I told him yes. I laid it out clearly. He had 2 options. Option 1. He figures out his tuition himself, gets a job and lives without a single cent from me again. Option 2. I help him finish, one last time, but there are conditions. He asked what kind. I told him, first you apologize to Emma. In person. Not over text. Not with some half-assed "my bad." You look her in the eye and tell her you're sorry for what you said. Then you spend a full weekend with her. Disneyland. And not just present. You actually make her feel special. Like she matters. Because clearly she forgot what that feels like around you. Any money I give from this point forward is a loan. Not a, just until you're back on your feet. A real loan. Contract. Notarized. 4 months to repay. No excuses. No delays. He blinked a few times like he was waiting for the punchline. I pulled the contract out of my bag. Printed. Highlighted. Pre-filled with the amount. $5,000. I already had the paperwork ready. He didn't say anything for a minute. Then he asked if I was serious. I told him I've never been more serious in my life. He asked if I was charging interest. I told him no. I'm not a bank. Just a woman tired of being played. He hesitated. Asked if he could think about it. I told him sure. but he wouldn't see a cent until I had both the apology and proof of the weekend with Emma. No shortcuts. No exceptions. He signed, but his hand was shaking. As I walked out, I told him something I don't think he fully understood until later. This is what boundaries look like. Back at home, I made pancakes for Emma. She asked why I looked tired. I told her I just cleaned up a big mess. What kind of mess? Family mess. She nodded like she understood, then asked for more syrup. I gave it to her, because she's the only one who deserves anything from me without conditions. 2 weeks after Kyle's Disneyland weekend with Emma, he texted a picture of them eating Dole Whip in front of the castle. She was grinning, face covered in melted sugar, holding his hand like she'd forgotten every cold shoulder he ever gave her. He actually did it. She came home the next day exhausted but glowing. She had a Minnie Mouse wand, light-up shoes, a stuffed Grogu, and the kind of joy in her voice I hadn't heard in months. She told me he let her pick out anything she wanted, that he went on every ride with her, that he didn't look at his phone even one time. Then she pulled a folded piece of paper from her tiny Disneyland backpack and gave it to me. It was a handwritten letter from Kyle. Not just sorry. A real apology. He admitted he'd acted selfish, that he hadn't thought about how his words would affect a child, that Emma deserved better, and that if I let him, he'd work on being someone she could actually look up to. It wasn't perfect, but it was more than I ever expected. So I wired the $5,000 the next morning. Loan agreement was already signed, notarized, and backed with a clear repayment schedule. For months. No wiggle room. I'll give him this, he didn't argue. He thanked me. Said he'd start job hunting immediately. I told him that was smart because this time, no payment meant no second chances. After that, things went oddly quiet. My parents didn't reach out, which was fine. I didn't need another round of guilt messages or vague comments about hurting the family. I focused on work, took Emma out for little adventures on weekends, and finally started sleeping through the night without dreading some desperate call. Until I got a letter in the mail. Not from my family. Not from the school. A debt collector. It said I owed $3,276.49 on a credit card I didn't recognize. Thought it was a scam. But when I looked closer, it had my name, my address, my old address from before I moved, and the last 4 digits of my social security number. I called the company, fully expecting a mistake. I asked when the card was opened. June of last year. I asked what the billing address was. My parents' house. I froze. I asked for the list of charges. They read some out. Groceries, gas, Walmart, Amazon, streaming services, Uber Eats. Month after month. All while I was still helping them. I asked what email address was linked to the card. It wasn't mine. But it was close. Same format, just 1 letter off. I hung up and stared at the wall for a long time. Not only had they used me, insulted me, and tried to guilt-trip me into continuing to fund their lives, they had literally stolen from me. And they didn't stop there. I ran my full credit report. That's when I found 2 more accounts. One opened 6 months ago, one last fall. Both in my name. Both maxed out. One was a department store card. The other was a personal loan I had no memory of taking, for $4,500. I totaled the damage. $8,781.42 in fraud. All while I was still giving them money openly. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I opened my documents folder. Pulled out the contact info for the same lawyer who had helped me write Kyle's loan agreement. By the end of the day, I had a fraud report filed. The lawyer drafted a letter. 1 to each credit agency. 1 to each lender. And 1 to my parents. They had 7 days to admit what they did and pay it back. Otherwise we'd escalate. And this time I wouldn't be showing up quietly. I didn't expect them to reply to the letters. Not right away. I figured they'd go quiet, maybe scramble, maybe try to find some friend or cousin to mediate. But days passed. Then a week. I checked with my lawyer. Both letters had been signed for. My mom even signed hers in cursive like she was paying a utility bill. And still nothing. They thought I was bluffing. So I gave the green light. The fraud affidavits went out to all 3 credit bureaus. We attached everything. Statements, emails, ID verifications, even screenshots from old texts where my mom asked me to handle the Amazon order because she was too stressed to deal with accounts. I was done protecting them. My lawyer submitted reports to both the state and federal fraud investigation offices. It wasn't some courtroom soap opera. It was a very simple process with very real consequences. And then it hit them. 2 days later, around 5:30 p.m., while Emma was passed out in her room with a snack still in her hand, someone started pounding on my front door. Not knocking. Pounding. I checked the peephole. My mother. Hair disheveled, mascara streaked, hands shaking. Behind her, my dad. Holding an envelope and a yellow folder like some kid trying to look professional. I didn't even open the door fully. Just stepped out and shut it behind me. She didn't wait for me to speak. She started crying, hard, the kind of sobs she used to fake when she needed me to just cover one more month on the insurance. But this time it wasn't an act. She said they'd gotten a call that morning from someone with the state attorney's office. Said an investigation was now open. Said their bank accounts were being flagged. That the lenders were freezing their lines of credit. They didn't understand what they'd triggered. My dad said they were scared. My mom begged me to fix it. Said she didn't mean it like that. That they were going to pay it back. They just didn't think I'd go this far. That's when I snapped. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just asked one question. Why didn't you just ask? I was already helping you. I was already giving, and you still chose to go behind my back. You opened accounts in my name. You ran up charges and never said a word. You stole from someone who never asked for anything but time and decency. And when I asked for one small thing, babysitting your granddaughter so I could earn more money to help you even more, you laughed and called us a burden. My mom tried to reach for my hand. I stepped back. I pulled the folder from under my arm and handed it to my dad. It was a repayment contract. $8,781.42. 4 months. Same terms as Kyle's loan. No loopholes. No delays. Miss a payment and we move forward with prosecution. I told them they had until the end of the week to begin payments. Then I said something that made my mom cover her face and cry harder. You didn't just lose money. You lost access. No more favors. No more automatic payments. No more we're family. They signed. On the hood of their car with shaking hands. As they walked away, my mom turned and said, "So we're just not invited to anything anymore?" I said, "You made that decision when you said Thanksgiving would be better without us." They didn't answer. They just left. That weekend Kyle came by. Alone. No drama. No requests. Just him holding a small cardboard box and a plastic bag from Target. Inside the box was a framed picture of him and Emma at Disneyland. Inside the bag a set of Legos she pointed out weeks ago. He sat with her for over 2 hours on the living room floor. Didn't look at his phone once. When he left he thanked me again. Told me he started working nights at a call center so he could pay off the loan early. He looked tired. But different. More real. Later that night, Emma asked why Nana and Grandpa don't come around anymore. I said, because some people don't know how to treat the people who love them. She nodded like she understood. Then she asked if Kyle could come back next week to build a castle. I told her if he keeps showing up like he did today, yes. Because forgiveness isn't about pretending nothing happened. It's about choosing who deserves another chance. And finally I was choosing wisely. It's been 3 months since everything came crashing down. My parents have made 2 payments so far. Not early. Not generous. But on time and exactly the amount required by the contract. No extra words. No calls. Just the deposit like they're paying rent to a landlord they can't stand. I haven't blocked them. But I also haven't spoken to them. The investigation is still open, but my lawyer agreed to hold off on pushing charges, for now, as long as they stay on schedule. They're walking a tightrope now, and for the first time in their lives, I'm the one holding the rope. Although, he's surprised me. He's made every payment on his loan early. Sometimes a few days, sometimes a full week. He sends a screenshot every time, along with a note saying, "Done," or, "Next one coming soon." He's also been showing up every Saturday. Not for me, for Emma. Sometimes he brings a small toy. Sometimes they just watch cartoons and eat popcorn. He even offered to take her to the Science Museum downtown last week. She came back talking about fossils and stardust like she just returned from Mars. The funny part is, I can see it changing him. The more time he spends with her, the more adult he becomes. Less reactive. Less entitled. Like for the first time in his life he's starting to understand what it means to care for someone who doesn't owe you anything. The kind of love you earn, not demand. I still don't know what'll happen with my parents. There's no trust left. Maybe in time something like it will rebuild. But it'll never look like it did before. And that's not a tragedy, that's growth. Because the truth is I spent years believing that giving without limits made me a good person. A good daughter. A good sister. That by never asking for anything I was making things easier for everyone. But all I was doing was training them to expect everything and give nothing. The turning point wasn't when they cut me out of Thanksgiving. It wasn't when they stole from me. It was when they made my 4-year-old feel like she was a burden. That was the moment I realized. If I didn't teach them how to treat us, no one would. Now things are different. There are rules. Boundaries. Consequences. The loans. They're working. Not because I wanted to be repaid. I honestly didn't care about the money anymore. But because the moment things became official, people started taking me seriously. And they started taking her seriously. Emma isn't just some afterthought in a family that couldn't make room for her. She's the line in the sand. She's the reason I stopped being the person who quietly fixed everything. Now I protect what's mine. I don't know what the next holiday will look like. I'm not planning for a reunion. But I'll tell you this, the table will be smaller. The seats will be earned. And for the first time I'll be the one sending the invites. Or not. Because family doesn't mean giving people endless chances. It means choosing with full heart and open eyes who gets to stay close. And who doesn't. The final happy update. Just a few days ago something incredible landed in my inbox. A formal notice from the credit bureau confirming that all 3 fraudulent accounts, the ones my own parents opened in my name, have been investigated, validated as fraud and permanently removed from my credit report. Not marked as closed. Like they never existed. I stared at the email for a while, half expecting there to be some fine print, some catch, but it was real. Then I checked my credit score. It jumped 117 points. That alone would have been enough good news for the month. But it got better. The bank that issued the largest fake personal loan reached out. After reviewing the full legal file and the supporting evidence my lawyer submitted, they didn't just wipe the debt. They refunded the interest charges, reported the case to their internal fraud team, and flagged both of my parents by name. They are now permanently banned from opening any financial accounts with that bank ever again. No appeals. No loopholes. It wasn't about revenge. It was about boundaries. Real ones. With consequences. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't call. No passive-aggressive message in the family group chat that no one uses anymore. I just smiled, opened my banking app and started a brand new savings account under a name I've been thinking about for a while. Emma's Future. I made the first deposit with the exact amount I used to send my parents each month. $1,200. Every time I would have helped them, that money goes there now. Because the only person in my life who's never taken advantage of me, never asked for more than I could give, and never treated love like a transaction, is her. And from now on, I don't fund people's silence, entitlement, or manipulation. I invest in what matters. And right now, that's a 4-year-old girl in light-up sneakers, with a heart way bigger than mine ever was at her age. That's the only account I care about growing now.